All right, welcome to your recovery portion. Go ahead and meet me in a tabletop position. And we're going to start with just a gentle cat-cowing of the spine to decompress the vertebra. So as you let your belly drop, pull your tailbone and your chin away from the body, and then press into the floor. Pull your chin and your hips towards each other, round your spine. And then just flow between those two movements, moving pretty slowly, feeling each little vertebra pull apart as you round, and each little vertebra pull together as you come into your arch. And if you like to match your breath to movement, that might feel really nice as well. And then slowly come into a neutral spine. We're going to find a little bit of mobility here. So slowly extend your right leg back behind you, and then reach your left arm forward. Notice the variation or how your pelvis is, and then see if you can keep it locked in place as you lift your right leg. Take a breath in. As you exhale, release your left hand. You're going to take your right knee, cross it over your left, and then sit your hips back. Your left knee may come up off the floor. Bring it back to center. Come back through bird dog. So right leg back behind you, left arm reaching forward. Then release your left hand, release your right toes. Pick up your left knee, and then extend your left leg back behind you for a three-legged plank. Let's flow that. Bring your left knee back in. Come through your bird dog, right leg, left arm. Release your left arm, cross your right knee behind your left. Sit your hips back towards your heels, maybe the left. Back through center. Come back through bird dog. Lower your left hand, your right foot. Pick up your left knee, extend it back behind you, three-legged plank. Slowly bring it back in. Let's do that one more time. Left knee to the floor. Flow it up. Left hand releases. Cross the right leg. Sit the hips back. Come through center. Bird dog. Right leg, left arm. Lower left arm, lower right toes. Pick up your left knee, and then extend your left leg back behind you. Nice job. Bring your left knee back. Bring your right knee in. Now I'm going to turn to face you, but you can stay in this tabletop position. Sit your hips back towards your heels. Grab your foam roller. You're going to place it to the outside of your left upper thigh. You're going to lay your left upper thigh on the foam roller or your rolled blanket or your rolled mat, and then bring your hips towards the floor. Now you can stay up on the elbow if that's comfortable. I personally like to lay all the way down. And then we're just going to mimic walking with the legs. So as you extend your left leg, your right knee will bend. And as you extend your right leg, your left knee will bend, which is a really nice release for the IT band, which can get really tight with activity and movement, especially walking, running, those kind of movements. But let your legs be really heavy on the foam roller. And we'll only be here for about 40 seconds, so you're already halfway through. And then go ahead and slow and bring the legs back to stillness. Use your top arm to press you back up. You're going to pick your hips up and place your left hip right on the foam roller. And then we're just going to roll forward and back on the foam roller. Now, if you don't have a foam roller and you're using a rolled up blanket or a rolled up mat, you're just going to stay in place with a little bit of compression. But all the modalities, whether compression or movement, are really healthy for the fascia. So this connective tissue that really needs our support. Oh, that feels really good. And then find a spot that feels a little bit extra tender. That might be a trigger spot. Come just off of it. So don't stop on the trigger spot, but be really close to it. And then you're just going to kind of open that knee up a little bit more and then close the knee off. So it's like you're windshield wipering the knee side to side. So here we're cross-fibering that connective tissue. And then slowly release. Go ahead and come off your foam roller and set it off to the side. Let's do that whole mobility series on the other side. So come back through your tabletop position. This time we're going to extend the left leg back behind us, reach the right arm forward. Keep your pelvis nice and neutral and lift your left leg. Take a breath in. As you exhale, right hand to the floor, left knee crosses over right, and then sit the hips back towards the heels. Maybe your right knee pops up. Come back through center. Reach your right arm and your left leg. Lower right arm and left toes to the floor. Pick up your right knee and extend your right leg back behind you. Let's flow that 2 more times. Right knee comes back towards the earth. Right arm and left leg extend. Right hand releases. Left knee crosses over right. Sit the hips back towards the heels. Come back through center. Come back through bird dog. Release the right hand. Release the left toes. Pick up your right knee. Extend your right leg back behind you. Bring it back in. 1 more time. Find your bird dog. Release the right hand. Cross the legs. Sit the hips back. Come back through bird dog. And then your 3-legged plank. Lower the right knee down. Lower the left knee. Again, I'm going to turn just to be towards the camera, but grab that foam roller. You're going to place it right next to your right thigh. And then you're going to place your right upper thigh and drape yourself over, bringing your hips to the floor, and then either staying up on the elbow or coming all the way down. Bend both knees. Extend your right leg, and then just keep switching the legs, bending one, extending the other. Letting your hips be on the floor and the legs really heavy on the prop. And see if you can't take a few deep breaths. And then slowly bring your legs back into stillness. Use your top free hand to press you up and slowly lift yourself up so you can place your glute right on that foam roller. And then again, just gently rolling forward and back on the meaty part of your tushy. And you may notice there's spots that feel a little bit more tender than others. Maybe the sensation is like gravelly or bumpy. And again, that's just feedback from the body, letting you know areas that we might want to come back to. So if you notice areas that are tender or areas that feel like gravel, that's your body just letting you know this might be an area we need to focus on. Keep coming back to me. Now notice if you have any of those tender spots, and then come right up next to it, but not right on it. And then again, just gently windshield wiper the right knee side to side. So we're getting a little bit of cross fibering. And then slowly release. Go ahead and come back through your tabletop position. We're going to move towards the front of the upper thighs. Keeping that foam roller or that rolled up blanket or mat, you're going to place it right in front of your knees. Now, just like we did on the side of the thighs, we're going to lay all the way down. So as you come over the foam roller or the prop, you're going to bring your hips all the way towards the floor. So the foam roller is still right above the knee. It's not on the kneecap, but let the legs be really heavy. And then again, we're just going to bend and extend. Now, you can alternate here, or you can do both at the same time. So I'll leave that up to you, your preference. You can stack the hands to support the forehead, or again, whatever feels more supportive for your body. But let the legs be really heavy, and let your belly be supported on the floor. And then maybe you play around with bringing the feet closer together and then further apart on the extension. So you're just hitting different parts of the quadricep. Now, if you have a rolled up mat or blanket, you'll have to physically pick up your body and move. But if you are on a foam roller, bring your hands underneath your chest. You're going to roll back a couple of inches. So the roller rolls up your thigh a little bit. And then same thing, just find this bending and extending. And again, maybe playing around with the feet going wide and then together. So you're just hitting different parts of this muscle. And then again, either move the blanket up or bring your hands under your chest and roll yourself back so the roller rolls up. And then bend and extend the legs once you're at this third different spot on the thigh. Now, if you're on a foam roller, we're going to add a little bit of movement. If you're on a blanket or a rolled up mat, I'm going to invite you just to keep bending and extending. If you're on the foam roller, go ahead and come onto like a forearm plank. So your toes are on the floor and your elbows are on the floor. And then maybe the feet flow up, maybe you keep them on the floor, but we're just going to roll the length of the thigh. So from the hips to right above the knee. And again, play around with the feet turning in and out so we can get all the different aspects of this muscle. Just take a couple more there. And then once you're rolling back, go ahead and release once your knees can find the floor and come up. And we're going to finish with a really nice spot on the back. So bring your foam roller onto the floor. We're going to place the shoulder blades right along the foam roller or your blanket or your rolled up mat. Now, if you have a blanket or mat, I'm going to invite you just to bring your arms to a cactus shape or a field goal shape and just lay there and again come into the compression. If you have a foam roller though, interlace the hands around the back of the head and then wrap your elbows up towards the sky. Let your hips be heavy onto the floor, and we're just going to come into some thoracic extension. So like you're coming at the bottom of a crunch, but obviously where the chest is lifted, we can come past what would be floor level. So you're really opening up into your extension. And then slowly draw yourself up as if you're doing a crunch or a sit-up, bringing your chin to your chest. And we're just going to move through that really slowly. So coming into thoracic extension, opening up through the chest and the back, and then coming into flexion as we round a little bit. And again, if you can find a breath to support you, that can be really helpful. But just moving in a way that really honors restoring the body and really bringing this mobility and flexibility aspect into your practice. Now again, if you're on the blanket, just stay exactly as you are. If you have a foam roller though, the next time you come into flexion, so you're a little bit rounded, back off a little bit so your spine is more neutral. If it feels okay for you, pick up your hips and then roll the shoulder blades, which can feel really nice. But if bringing the hips off the floor doesn't feel safe or good for you, feel free just to stay in that thoracic extension and flexion. And then slowly release and come all the way up. And one final modality, we're going to release through the wrist. So coming back into your tabletop position, keep your right hand as it is, turn your left wrist either towards the sidewall at a 90-degree or a 180 turn, and then find this gentle rocking forward and back to release through the wrists. And we'll just do about 4 or 5 rocking, and then switch sides. And slowly release. Go ahead and come up, and hopefully you feel refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to tackle the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an amazing rest of your day, and until next time, be well.